I've been through literally hell and back, and I've been denied already to like 5 schools because of my low LSAT score. I'm a single mom. I work full time. I try to do 2 hours a day, and I was just exhausted and I couldn't. I feel like that's what's keeping me back. I don't know what else to do.
If you put in those additional 5 hours reviewing your mistakes, that alone could get you the 5-point increase over the next 3 weeks. This is Carly, and she's looking to go from the low 140s to a 150 in the next 3 weeks. My name is Steve Schwartz, and I've been teaching the LSAT for the past 20 years. Today, Carly's going to bring me her biggest LSAT challenges, and I'll help her address them as she looks to improve by 5-10 points and beyond. So where are you scoring right now?
So I'm very frustrated. I'm scoring in the low 140s, 141, 143, and I can't seem to break it, Steve. No matter what I do, it's really frustrating. I took another test, not this Saturday, the Saturday before, and I got a 141, and I was feeling very discouraged. And my coach had to leave town. She was on vacation, so they set me up with another coach for that week because they didn't want me to miss out. But I just want to get into a law school. Even if I got a 150, I am waitlisted at Cooley and at Syracuse and at Stetson right now. They're waiting for my April LSAT score because other than that, they love my entire application. I had 3 letters from judges. You know, I have a really great story. I have a really good personal statement. I've been through literally hell and back, and God saved my life and gave me a purpose to help women in domestic violence and dependency courts. And I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, but God is also not a genie. And in a leap of faith, actually, it's funny. I spoke with you on the phone and I was like, I don't have the money to do this. And then you suggested a firm. I went with a firm. Literally, I worked into worship practice on Thursday and someone handed me $1,000 and told them that God told me to give it to them. And I literally broke down and cried. And then I went to dinner with an aunt on Saturday, and she gave me a card that said, "Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, congratulations on graduating with your bachelor's," and it had 500 in it. So I know that God has me here on purpose, Steve, and he's not going to just do it. I have to put in the work, and I know that. And I'm very frustrated because I'm a single mom. I work full time. I try to do 2 hours a day. It doesn't always happen. Last night I tried to get on the call at 8 and I was just exhausted and I couldn't. And I feel like that's what's keeping me back. I don't know what else to do.
You know, I'm sorry to hear about the struggles in the situation that you're in, but at the same time, I could see that the universe is pushing you and God's pushing you in this direction and giving you the support to make it happen. And so I want to see what can I do to help guide you on that path as well. We want to get you 150 plus, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your target test date? How long do we have?
I'm scheduled for April 12th.
Okay, so we have about 3 weeks.
And that's only because I already have all these applications. I've spent hundreds of dollars already, and I've been denied already to like 5 schools because of my low LSAT score. The last time I took it, it was a 143. So the highest ever on a test prep I've got, a prep test, is a 146. And Cooley told me if I got a 146, they'd take me. But I just, lately it hasn't been happening. I get to section 3 and 4 and my brain wants to do anything but this, anything.
How many hours a week are you putting in?
So I'm meeting with my coach once a week. I'm trying to do a test prep once a week. And I would say it's probably at least a half an hour to 45 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week, and the other days are definitely a full 2 hours. I'm doing an hour of study time, and then I'm on the calls with your coaches at 8 o'clock in the classes.
When Carly said she'd been stuck in the low 140s, I could feel the frustration. But here's what I want every student to hear. That is not the end of the story. That's just the current snapshot. Carly's already put in the work. She's shown up for coaching. She's joined live classes and carved out time, even with a full-time job and being a single mom. But the missing piece is that she hasn't been doing deep independent review. Most of her prep time has been spent with others, in live sessions and in coaching sessions, but the real breakthroughs often happen alone, face-to-face with your own mistakes. That is where the growth happens. And now that she's seen that, she can shift her focus and finally start moving toward that 150 plus. All right, so you're joining the classes, you're joining the one-on-one sessions.
Yeah.
So you're following the plan. Would you say that?
I'm not following the study plan they gave me. And I told the lady the other day I'm not, because sometimes I'll start watching the videos and it's not engaged. I'm not engaged because I don't feel like there's a dialogue where I could ask a question, or it's not as much helping me to watch the pre-taped videos as it is to be in the class and have that dialogue for me.
All right. So for you, as you're the kind of learner who wants to be there live and have that real-time interaction.
It helps me because I process better. I understand it better. I will say I am finally starting to understand the flaws in the arguments and see holes in things, and that I never seen before in the stimulus, and being able to infer things from it. Like that I was never doing before. So I've definitely seen progression in the way that I'm looking and reading the stimulus, but especially like the ones that are like word salads and it's very wordy, and it takes me like a hot 6 minutes just to understand what the thing says, and I just want to move on. I don't even want to read it, and I'm like, okay, we're done, let's go to the next one. And so it helps me when I have other students kind of explaining what's going on and helping.
Yeah, of course. No, I think that's good that you have the access to join those classes. We have them 4 nights a week, and then you have your one-on-one coaching as well, so that's 5 live experiences. But the truth, Carly, is that it can't only be that you're studying when it's live, right? There's also work to be done on your end as well, right? Because you got to have time to take that practice test, which you're doing. You also got to review it in depth, and that takes time. Carly made a great observation during this call. She's the kind of learner who thrives with live interaction. She likes asking questions, engaging in conversation, and learning from her classmates. And that's all great. That kind of engagement will build confidence and clarity. But what I told her, and what I tell every student, is that the group work and the coaching is just part of the process. It gives you the tools, it shows you where to look, but the real progress comes from sitting down by yourself and applying what you've learned. You've got to have solo time where you struggle with it. You've got to have time to review. If your entire LSAT journey is just showing up to live sessions, it's like going to the gym, watching someone else lift weights, and hoping you get stronger. The coaching is a guide, but you've got to be the one taking the reps. Real quick, guys, a lot of you have been asking me how you can be featured in one of these LSAT study breakdowns and get feedback on your approach. The only way is to join one of my LSAT coaching programs. You can check out the links below to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And now, back to the show. I mean, what does your review process look like?
And I think maybe that's partly something I'm really not doing either. My review process is meeting with my coach and going over the questions that I flagged and why I got them wrong. And that's it. That's where my review stops with the practice test.
Yeah, so I mean, that might be part of the issue, right? Because I mean, I get what you mean. I'm just by nature, for me, it's that I'm a social person. So for me, like if I could be talking with other people, I'll stay there all day.
Yeah.
But if it's me alone with a book, I'm just zoning out. But the truth is that a lot of the work has got to happen on your end, and you've got to find a way to do that solo work. And that could be that, you're studying with your imaginary friend. It could be that you're, for real, like you just got to find a way to trick your brain into being engaged with it. And your friend could be the LSAT question. It could be that you're talking to Dr. LSAT or the people who might make the LSAT.
Okay.
But it's got to be that you're putting in that time.
I'm down to try
also.
Whatever at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
to trick my brain into.
Yeah, I don't care how ridiculous it is as long as it works, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, the thing is that like you're sitting there for a 2.5 hour practice test, but then there's got to be another probably 2 to 5 hours of review time of that exam, and that's not talking to your coach. That's not joining a class. That's you sitting there struggling with the questions. And if you're getting 140s, that means there's going to be a couple dozen questions that are worth reviewing. That's going to take a lot of time. Like it could be that if we added in another 5 hours of study time per week, and that was you studying solo, reviewing that single practice test, that would do wonders for your score, Carly. I'm serious about this, because the thing is that, I used to, when I did a lot more one-on-one work with students directly, I would find there were some people who their time with me that week was the only studying they did, and it just is not enough. And I know that you're doing a lot more than that. You're doing that plus those 4 live small group classes, but still, a lot of the work happens solo. It just has to.
Okay. And I work for the courts, so when I'm not in court, I'll go downstairs into the law library and I'll try to, even if I can only get like a half of a section and on my lunch break, I try to at least do something a couple of days a week from work too.
That's good. That's good. So let's 10x that. So that what you're doing is good. So if you're carving out time here and there, that's great. We all have 24 hours in a day, and we have our limitations with other obligations, sure. But if you could squeeze in even more of that, that's going to do a lot to help you out. We only got 3 weeks, so it's time to go really hard on it. When Carly described her review process, I immediately saw the issue. Her review ended after she'd flagged a few questions, brought them to her coach, and got some help understanding them. But that's only the beginning. If your review ends the moment you hear, "Oh, you just misread it," you're missing the gold. The review that's going to lead to breakthroughs looks like this. First, you revisit the entire section. Then you ask yourself, why did I pick that wrong answer? What did the test maker want me to fall for? And why didn't I like the right answer? You're not just correcting yourself, you are reverse engineering the trap so that you can avoid making the same mistake the next time around. And if Carly can start doing that, not just with her coach, but also on her own, consistently, that's going to lead to a 5-point boost right there.
So do you think if I really put another 5 or 6 hours in each week, I could get to that 150 by test day?
It's possible. I mean, if we have 5-6 hours a week additional times 3 weeks, that's another 15 to 18 hours of study time. You solo reviewing questions, which could be the highest leverage thing that you can do right now because you haven't really been doing it up to this point. So you've had the one-on-one coaching, you've had the small group classes. You don't need more of that necessarily beyond what you're doing. So I'm not saying to stop doing it, but I'm saying that there is another kind of work that you haven't been doing enough of. And so if we add that additional kind of work into the mix, that's going to be your lowest hanging fruit. And it's you sitting there with the questions, learning from your mistakes so that you don't make them again. Carly asked, if I add 5 more hours per week, can I get to a 150 by test day? And my answer was absolutely, if those hours are spent on the right kind of work. I'm not talking about watching more videos or going to more classes. I'm talking about solo review. You want to sit down with your practice test, look at every missed question and ask yourself, what was the trap? Why did I fall for it? And how can I avoid it the next time around? If Carly can do that for just 1 full test per week over the next 3 weeks, that's 15 hours of high leverage review. And that alone could make the difference between a 143 and a 150 plus. And
then the kind of subcoach I had last week, she pointed out something that my other coach never did, and I kind of appreciated that, is that she said, let's say I've gone through the question choices and I like A, but I also like D. And I feel like I liked A right off the bat, but now I'm questioning myself with D. On the ones that I was reviewing, it was almost the one I would end up picking is the one that I picked on the test and got wrong. And she's like, Carly, you know the answer and you don't trust yourself. And that's crazy because it was like, she's right. I did know it was A. I didn't even have to keep reading. And I do because I'm scared. And that was something I had never thought about even until last week. So that was really good insight.
Sometimes, that is a good insight. And sometimes we second guess ourselves when we don't need to, right? And so it could be that for some questions, you're confident, you got to pick it and move on because there's another question later in this section where you've got to allocate that time instead.
And then sometimes I only get to question 15 before I start running out of time. And then I'm just, when in doubt, Charlie out, and picking and just asking God, okay, what's this one? What's this one? And some of them I do get right. I get a few of them right, but I'm only getting to about question 15 before I have about 5 minutes left. And then I'll stop what I'm doing and go and make sure at least the rest of the test, the section is filled in, because I want to at least have that opportunity to get it right, even if I'm guessing. And then I'll just start one by one going through them. But that's about where I run out of time.
Yeah, so the insight where you want to stop second guessing yourself, speed up a little bit. Imagine if you got 10 more insights like that from your solo study when you were analyzing those practice tests more. Because the truth is that when you take a practice test, especially if it's in the 140s, there is so much to review. You can't possibly do it all in a single coaching session. No. You can bring in the most important questions to discuss, but the other questions,
that's it.
Right. But the other questions are also worth analyzing, and there's not enough time to do that in a coaching session. You got to do that on your own. Okay. And so if we get you 10 more insights like that, that alone could give you the 5 points that you need the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
Carly mentioned she often gets stuck around question 15 in logical reasoning, then has to guess throughout the rest of the section. That's incredibly common, especially for students who are careful, thoughtful, and don't want to make mistakes. But on the LSAT, perfection early on can actually hurt your score. If you spend 4 minutes on question 8 just trying to be perfect, you're stealing time from question 22, which might have been way easier for you. The shift that Carly needs, and maybe you need it too, is to stop second guessing yourself and to start trusting your gut when you know that you're probably right. This is not about rushing, but it's about recognizing when a question's worth 90 seconds and when it's not. If Carly can make that shift, she'll stop timing out at number 15 and start seeing a lot more of those final 10 questions and more correct answers as well because of it. Real quick guys, if you're just getting started with your LSAT prep or you're looking for a quick refresher, you can grab your free easy LSAT cheat sheet linked below this video. It's jam-packed full of concrete actionable tactics you can take and apply to your LSAT prep for a quick score boost, and it's 100% free, so you can grab your copy below. And now back to the show.
I can do it. I know I can.
I know you can too.
Putting in the work and focusing and prioritizing also to make sure that I get the stuff, dinner done, my daughter taken care of and in her room with a book or whatever, so I can focus, because it is just me and her. That's the goal, right? Is to be able to give her a better life than I had. So trying to keep moving in that direction.
Awesome. Well, let's make it happen. You've got your motivation, you've got your why. I'm here to support you. If you have any questions or need anything, you could reach out and let me know anytime, and I'm always happy to help.
I guess I don't ever know if it's you or if it's one of your people. So I'm always scared to be like, is this really Steve? It's bot Steve.
Right.
But no, I believe that this course was sent to me from God, and it was purposeful, and I want to put 110% into it. And I've come to the realization that if I do not get the score that I want April 12th, that just to keep studying through the summer and sit again maybe one more time and then try again real early next cycle. Because even though I applied in December and in early January, we're now in April, so even if I'm sitting on the wait list, I'm still at the end of the cycle now.
And that's okay. It's better to apply a little bit later with a higher score than earlier with a lower score. And so I think that if you take what we talked about today and you apply it, if you put in those additional 5 hours reviewing your mistakes, that alone could get you the 5-point increase over the next 3 weeks. But if you need more time, that's okay too. A lot of these schools you're talking about will still take June LSAT results too. One of the most powerful parts of this conversation came at the very end. Carly reminded me, this isn't just about getting a score. It's about her daughter. It's about becoming a lawyer to help women in the courts who don't have a voice. And it's about walking the path that she believes God set her on. When you carry that kind of why into your prep, it changes everything. You study with urgency because the mission matters. And yes, that means it hurts more when you feel stuck, but it also means you've got a reason to keep pushing through. Carly's got that fire. She's already taken huge steps. Now, it's just about matching that purpose with a smart, focused system. And when she does, I have no doubt she'll get where she's meant to go.
When I was in Michigan, I went up there on break. I'm in Florida because they have a Tampa Bay campus as well. I actually met with the admissions director and had lunch with her and everything because she was so impressed with everything. And she's like, Cooley's in trouble with the bar a little bit. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But she's like, I cannot accept you less than a 145. She's like, you are 2 points away. You can do this. So she's like, if you get a 145, I can help you. I cannot help you unless you get a, literally the bar won't let them. So, but I don't want to be the lowest guy on the totem pole either. So it's very frustrating, but I know I could do it, and it's just I gotta keep moving forward.
Let's go for it. Yeah, don't go for the 145, go for the 150 plus. I know that you can do this. Carly knows that one of her targets feels triggered with a certain score, and that's tempting. It creates this mental shortcut where you think, if I just hit that number, I'm done. But aiming for the bare minimum keeps you boxed in. It means your entire plan rests on one school's admission policy staying the same and on you not wanting anything better later. So the smarter play is to push for the highest score you can reasonably get. A higher score doesn't just expand your school list, it can completely change your financial picture. More options means you can compare offers, negotiate scholarships, and pick the program that sets you up with the least debt and the most opportunity. I've seen students go from thinking, I'll just take whatever I can get, to I've got 3 great offers with significant scholarships just because they raised their target beyond the minimum. And so for that reason, we tell our students minimum scores are just for meeting requirements. Ambitious scores are for creating leverage. And leverage is what gives you real choices in law school and beyond.
My next question is, this will be number 4. I'm only allowed to take this 7 times, right?
Yeah, so the retake limit is 7 times. It's
Ever?
also 7 times ever and 5 times in 5 years.
Oh my God. So I will only have one more time after this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but let's look at let's look at your practice test scores as we go into the April test, and then you'll be able to make a more informed decision about like whether you take it or you want to save that take for June.
And that's when I'm like, do I not take April and just be like, screw this cycle?
It depends. It depends on where you're at. I mean, I think that if you take what we talked about today and you apply it in the next 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to go ahead with April. But if for whatever reason your practice tests are not where you want them going into April, you could just withdraw and go for June instead.
You know how you can buy the score preview? I canceled my January one because it was lower. Is that still considered a take, even if I cancel the score?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
Let's go for it. I mean, you've got a plan. You know what to do. It's just a matter of going hard these next 3 weeks to make it happen.
Okay.
Carly's instinct was to push ahead with her next LSAT no matter what. But that's not always the smartest move. A test date isn't a finish line you have to cross. It's an opportunity you can use well, or you can waste. If your practice scores aren't close to where you want them, going through with the test just to get it over with often means burning one of your limited attempts and locking in a score that you're not proud of. The better approach is to decide based on how ready you are, not the calendar. So ask yourself, if I scored on test day exactly what I'm scoring in practice right now, would I be happy to send that number off to law schools? If the answer is no, keep training until the answer becomes yes. This is not about procrastination. It's about maximizing the return on each official attempt. And so, when we work with students, the ones who wait until they're truly ready almost always end up with better scores and stronger applications. Law schools care about the numbers you send them, not how fast you got that number. So treat each test date as a strategic choice, not an obligation.
Thank you, Steve.
Of course, Carly. And if you need anything, you could always reach out, email, text, anytime. I'm happy to help.
I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to meet with me today.
My pleasure. Of course. You have a good one.
You too. Thanks.